Hi everyone, it's Carol here, the founder of the Sleep Success Academy. And in today's video, I wanted to talk about when sleep seems impossible. So I know some of you are listening to this and you're going to go, I know what you mean, Carol, because I just can't sleep. No matter what I do, sleep is not working, it's not coming. And then so I try harder. And I know from experience and from what I hear of other people, when we try harder, sleep doesn't come. And I've even heard, when people try to not try, sleep is not coming because we're still kind of trying. We're still trying to force it. And it comes from this desperate energy of really wanting some sleep, which I get you because when we're not sleeping, life is miserable. And so today in my video, I wanted to talk about when we believe that sleep is impossible, but what can we do in order to make sleep possible for us? I know it's possible. Many of my clients or my members of the Better Sleep community, they do know that sleep is possible. They're having great successes. If you haven't listened to their success story, there's a few of them I've posted recently. So go back and watch those and see how they're actually doing some steps and doing some things that is helping them improve the quality of their sleep. And so at the same time, if you're not ready for that level of support with the Better Sleep community, why don't you go to my website, sleepsuccessacademy.com/free resources. And on that page, there's lots of free coaching calls I've done. There's the 3 tapping meditations for better sleep that you can download and start using and implementing in your life today. That will then start you on your journey to better sleep. So when I say that sleep is possible for everyone, that is an empowering belief that I have. And I have this belief, and this belief got created because I struggled with sleep so bad. I mean, I lost sensation in my hands and feet from not sleeping. So you know how sleep deprived I was for years, to a point where my body started breaking down. And I had to stop working, and it was really awful. However, hitting that low got me to start thinking about my life, what was going on, and what I needed to do in order to get my life back in order. And once I was able to figure out some stuff and start sleeping again, I was quite amazed actually how I was the one causing my lack of sleep. Now, this is not for everybody that we're the one causing our lack of sleep, but for me, I was part of the problem, along with a dysregulated nervous system that I had no idea how to bring regulation in my nervous system. Because everything I tried, nothing worked. So I kept trying and trying and forcing sleep, but my behavior is wrong, my mindset was wrong, and my emotional well-being was wrong. So I often talk about the 3 components to better sleep, which is your emotional well-being, so the state of your nervous system, your emotions you feel each day, then your mindset, what you believe about yourself, about the world, about your sleep, and then the last one being your behaviors, which is what are you doing during the day that will either allow you to improve your sleep or will actually hinder your sleep. And so that's a lot of what we talk about in the Better Sleep community, but what we also talk about is how it's possible for you to do things once you know what you need to do to create better sleep for yourself. It's possible. That is a belief that is so ingrained in me. I see it with myself. So to go from totally like almost no sleep, not being able to fall asleep without 2 sleeping pills every night. And like even then, I got maybe 2 to 3 hours, constantly wired, so hyper aroused to no end, to a point where my body started shutting down. And I know that because I had lost the sensation in my hands and feet. What I know now is that when our body is in such survival, the stress amped up constantly, just trying to manage every day, but not managing because we're hyper aroused. We're on in survival mode almost. And I was working 80 hours a week. I was taking care of a family. I was like, just so much was happening that my body could not keep that. So the sensation in my hands and feet that went away is because then my body had to send all the energy I had to keep my heart pumping, to keep my digestion going. And the reality is my hands and feet weren't that important, I guess, because I needed other organs needed to be working. So I was so depleted energy wise that even though I couldn't sleep, I was exhausted, but there's just no way because my body was in the survival mode. So that is the state of our nervous system. I didn't know that back then either, but I know that now. If you're looking at your life or your sleep and you're going, well, Carol, I've tried everything. I've tried, doing meditation. I've tried doing making the room dark at night. I've tried whatever, right? Because we try so many things. I know I've been there. I think the worst thing I thought was if I had a glass of wine or two at night that I would actually like get some sleep. And what it did is actually block the REM sleep in my brain, which is so important for us to have. So it's okay to have a glass of wine here and there, but not using it as a sleep aid. When we start using it as a sleep aid, then it's a coping mechanism and it's not giving us the natural sleep we want anyway, because it's blocking that REM sleep that's so important. So, knowing what I know today, if I was to tell you what I believe would be the path to better sleep for you, I would start with you need some education, because a lot of us don't know what our body needs. A lot of us don't know what our nervous system needs, and we don't understand sleep. So, education on two things: one, your nervous system, and two, on sleep. What is sleep? How does it come about? What do I have to do in order for sleep to come? Like, what's our sleep cycles? Like, all that kind of information. That's so good. But we don't want to focus. Like, don't read sleep books. I tell that to everybody. Don't read any sleep books, because it will tell you all the things that are wrong with you if you're not sleeping, and all the disease it can cause, which, okay, it's true, but we can do something about our sleep by looking at the state of our nervous system. And I had someone email me once that he read a sleep book and it caused them lack of sleep, because it said that if you lost 1 hour of sleep, it caused irreparable damage to your brain. And I said to him, so that's a limiting belief, right? If we look at the belief system, and I want you to tell me, do I look like someone that has irreparable damage to my brain? No, I don't. And I went years without sleep, right? Like years. And look at me today. So to me, I know that it can be reversed. I know that it's possible to have sleep. But first, we need to have education about our belief system, education about sleep, education about our emotion, education about our nervous system. And that's what I offer in the Better Sleep community. We really focus hard on education. So we have videos every week that people get to watch before our Tuesday call, which is a training call. And then on Thursdays, we put into practice everything we've learned, and we go for 12 weeks. And it's been amazing to see the results. But what really fills my heart is when people take this first step really seriously. So, first, we have to lay a foundation for our nervous system. We have to, like, if you're building a house and you want it to be solid, you need a good foundation. And that's what I want to kind of explain today on how you can start creating better sleep for yourself, knowing that it won't be tonight. If you struggle with sleep for a long time, you won't do this once and it will then change your sleep. You need to do this every day and bring in these things on a regular basis in order then for sleep to come. So the three things to build the foundation in our nervous system, and I take these from Irene Lyon. I've done many programs with her, and this is what she teaches. And I also take some of this information from my mentor, Nancy Forrester. And I've read so many books. I have a bookcase here full of books. And so Peter Levine talks about some of this stuff as well. I just know that I didn't come up with this information. This is actually stuff I studied and that I've read in books, or that I've taken courses on to better educate myself for my sleep. And now I'm teaching other people how to do it. So to create a solid foundation in your nervous system, you need to first start looking at what your resources are in your life. And by a resource, I mean something that really helps calm your nervous system when it's activated. And I'm not talking about a glass of wine like I was doing, and I'm not talking about drinking extra caffeine during the day to get that oomph that I don't have. I'm talking about actual resources. Like, is there a person that is someone you can talk to that will not tell you not to feel what you're feeling? Is there a comfy blanket you like to sit with on the couch? Is there a type of book that you like to read that really makes you feel good? Is there a show? Like me and my husband just started rewatching Virgin River lately. We've already watched it, but that show makes me feel good, right? It's a lovey-dovey show. So for me, I like watching those shows because they're a resource on a day that I just want to chill and spend time with my husband. We'll watch those kind of shows. So what's your resource? A nice warm cup of tea. Resources are usually things that are external to us. In the program, we learn about the difference from an internal resource and an external resource, but that's deeper, and we usually start with just external. So that's the first thing. You need to start building a solid foundation in your nervous system. The second thing that we need is orienting. So, orienting is a concept that is taught by Irene Lyon. My mentor already taught it to me before I came across Irene Lyon's work. And I do believe that it also comes from Peter Levine. So, altogether, these people have understood that orienting is really focusing on the cues of our external environment. So, when I look at my external environment, I'm recognizing that I'm safe and that I feel good and that there's really nothing coming at me. Like there's no danger. I'm talking to you on the screen, but there's no big tiger coming out in my window. There's not a big rainstorm outside. Like it's actually safe. And yet internally I might not feel safe. And so that's the difference between orienting and meditation. Because a meditation brings you inward and it brings you to close your eyes or be present in the moment. But if you have trauma, so trauma, my definition of trauma is anything that has dysregulated the nervous system. So it's not about the event, it's not about what happened, but it's this dysregulation in our nervous system. I could never meditate. I'm better at it now, but I prefer to do orienting because it's really letting me and my nervous system know that there's no danger. And when you have lack of sleep and you try to go to bed, you walk into your bedroom and sometimes you feel so afraid because you're not going to sleep. The anxiety creeps in. It's dark. You're going to have another lonely night because everybody else in your house is going to sleep and you're just miserable. It's hard walking into your bedroom and seeing your bedroom because our internal tells us the bedroom is not really a safe place because it's a place I'm going to lay here all night again and struggle. And so that's why part of the 3 tapping meditation on my free resource page, there's one is orienting to your bedroom. It's really teaching your nervous system again that the bedroom is a safe place. So looking at your bed, looking at the environment, like what do you know? And even like looking for monsters underneath the bed, type monsters. They're not real, but we just kind of look under the bed like, see, there's nothing that can actually come get me through the night. Unless there is. If there is a real danger in your bedroom, then that's a different conversation. But I'm talking about orienting to a safe environment that our nervous system doesn't perceive as safe. So that's the second thing. And the third thing we learn in order to really create this foundation is following our biological impulses. This is interesting because our biological impulses, like when we need to pee, we go pee. When we need to have a bowel movement, we make sure we go, we don't hold it. When we're thirsty, we make sure to drink. When we're hungry, we make sure to eat. And by doing these things that our body needs, right? So biological impulses, not talking about eating a whole cookie jar, right? That's an impulse, but that's not a biological impulse. A biological impulse is eating when we're hungry and we stop eating when we're full. But even if you just start with the first one is I need to pee, I go pee. How many of us, I worked in an office environment for years and would just not go use the washroom during the day because I was too busy working away and I just one more email, just one more task. And what I'm teaching my body at that time is that I'm not important. And it's teaching my body to repress everything. And so when I get to bed at night, now my body wants to like talk about all the stresses of the day and I want to go to sleep. So if I just start by taking care of my body, it's a really good self-awareness exercise to what our body actually needs. And then that will trickle into the rest of our life to say, oh, I'm tired. Then no, I'm not going to go and add an extra task to my life. So this will allow us later on to be able to set boundaries that make sense for us. So when you start doing this, then sleep becomes possible. And I know that because I've seen it happen. And I also know that because a lot of us are not taught to take care of ourselves. And therefore, we override the cues that our bodies are telling us. And that's what happens when we're not sleeping is we've either had a specific event that has caused a dysregulation in our nervous system, or we've lived with a lot of dysregulation for a long time, which we're still not sleeping. Regardless, in either of those, you have to start with creating a solid education on your nervous system and on your sleep system. So I hope I answered some questions. I know I kind of rambled on here a little bit, but what I know to be true is there's only you that can make a difference in your sleep. I can give you the education, but then you have to take the step to be able to decide what you're going to implement in your life. What changes are you willing and ready to make? And as we start making these changes, can we make them not abruptly, because our nervous system doesn't like abrupt changes, but slowly and surely, so that we know that eventually sleep will come back. And once you have this, like, I can get totally dysregulated during the day because of an event that's happened, or something happens and I get full of anxiety, or I just can't settle. I have my tools, and that night I can still go to sleep. So that means that when I wake up the next morning, I will be able to handle the day. As before, I would spend, if I say an event, like I was just thinking in my mind that I can go to sleep now at night, that could have kept me awake for a week or two. And then the insomnia really sets in, and then we're back at square one where I can't sleep. But I know that it's possible. And if you want to go and watch some testimonials from some of the members of the Better Sleep community, there's a few of them. There's one with Basilio, there's one with Margie, and there's one with Terry. And they shared their experience in the Better Sleep community and how getting this education has really helped them improve the quality of their sleep. And what I like about all of them is they say it's not just their sleep that has improved, it's their life. Margie says it's life changing. Terry said it's your day to day life, like that. It's not just about sleep, it's about your day to day life. I encourage you, if you want to know more about the Better Sleep community, just click on the link in the description below. Book a call with me if you want to know if it works for you. You can join at any time. So even if the 12 weeks have already started, you can join at any time because you only pay for the program once. And then you come back every time we redo start a new group cohort. Actually, I'll call it that, or a new intake of students. So you can't start at the beginning. So we just started. So first group call being was on June 11th, so just a few days ago. And then we're going to continue for 12 weeks and then start again in September. But I know it works. I know it's possible for everyone to get their sleep back on track. It might not be easy, but with the right support, it's doable. So that's it for today. I hope you have a great evening and a great sleep, and I will talk to you next time.